My name is Max.
Hey, I'm Twiggy.
And welcome to
Tech A. Welcome to episode 2, Scams.
And in this episode, we'll be discussing common scams, the common targets, how to identify them, and what you should do and not do when faced with a potential scam. So, Brad, what are some common scams?
Let's say we have email scams, we have text scams, there's something called phishing. The new text scam is called schmishing because texting could also be called SMS. Tax scams, that's just a few of them. What else have you heard of?
I've heard of a thing called whaling.
What the heck is whaling? I've heard of phishing, but I don't think I've ever heard of whaling.
So whaling is the targeted organization. So you think of a big fish.
Oh, so they're going after big fishes. So, like, for example, CFOs, COOs, CEOs.
Yeah,
all those O's.
The tech infrastructure. They're going after the infrastructure and the higher end individuals, little peons like me and you. They're after us, but only to get to the bigger fish. So. Some of those scams of send us Bitcoin and we won't reveal your deepest, darkest secrets to the world. Anything like that. Prize giveaway scams, and it just leads to either them stealing your bank information and taking a lot of money out of your bank account, or just flooding your inbox of spam emails. That's the other one. It's harmless. Spam emails are harmless. It's just annoying.
To a degree.
To a degree, but it's just annoying.
Right. They started out as annoying, and then people in other countries that had nothing better to do, or that's just a way that they make their money nowadays by tricking people to empty their life savings just because somebody might be in danger, or they don't want to be found out by local law enforcement or IRS. Growing up, I've always learned that the IRS will never call you, they'll never email you, they'll never text you. If they want to get a hold of you, they'll send somebody knock on your door.
Yeah, that's how the IRS and any federal agency works. Some banking agencies, they will call you, but you'll know who's calling you. They typically they give you an ID number, or they tell you that this is a recorded line. They have to, by law, to tell you where they're calling, and if they're inaudible, as in like you couldn't make out the organization that is calling to collect any kind of debt, that is actually illegal. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yes, they have to clearly, audibly tell you who's calling. So if that's not a tall tale sign of like you're about to get scammed, then that's it. It's especially on the phone. Brad, what are some common targets?
Oh,
besides the obvious.
Pretty much anybody can be targeted.
That was the obvious one.
Yeah. I notice a lot of older people, like my grandparents' age. So yeah, like older clientele, they're targeted because somebody might be in danger, or they just don't know how technology works.
Right.
They're either trying to make a quick buck, or they're afraid their life savings is going to be gone in the blink of an eye. Hackers basically prey on people that are insecure. I've heard it called social engineering, where it's dangerous to put too much information out on the web because hackers will then analyze it and get into all of our personal information. For example, if you have something come up on Facebook and it asks what your favorite band is, or your stripper name might be your first pet, and what street you grew up on. If you actually look at it, those are typically our security questions. So don't answer those, or just make up something fake.
Yeah, so we're kind of leading into how to identify a scam at this point. And so for me, it's always, especially in my emails, I always look at who is sending it. Is this somebody that I actually know, or Is this a business that I know? Typically there will be an official email address, so I always look at the email address. If it looks not correct, I am not opening the email. Anything from you that you've identified?
Definitely it's misspellings.
Yeah, that is a big one.
That's a dead giveaway. I've also been checking the address bar. And I just want to let you guys know that even myself, we're not immune to scams.
No.
It's been several years ago now, but I almost took down an entire college's infrastructure because I logged into something that looked like a legit email. And then a few months later, I get a call from this college's information technology department that my account has been disabled and I need to change my password immediately. And send out emails to anybody that I may know saying do not enter any of this information because they're trying to cause some problems.
So that's basically the gist of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pretty much shut down our universities.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a time where I wasn't that young because I was still working at Best Buy. I want to say this is about 5 years ago. And it was a very humbling experience, and it's made me be a little bit more serious about not opening emails and not putting my login information all willy-nilly.
Yeah, and I still believe that they use your situation as a what not to do.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience.
Exactly. Well, you're teaching future generations without even knowing it. Look at you go. You didn't even have the nonprofit yet, and you're already helping.
Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing, but I feel like I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, so recently I fell trapped to a relatively new scam that's going around on social media. It utilizes all the assets from a company's Facebook to basically make it look like a legit page. And long story short, I entered a sweepstakes for a particular item and got a text message with a link saying, "Hey, you won this particular item. You need to follow this link and put in the appropriate information for us to send it out." And of course, it's asking for my debit card and it's asking for my credit card. Well, it asked for my debit card first, and I was just assuming that this was like shipping costs. And it all looked legit from a legit website, and it was even the same logo. It was the same everything from the actual website.
Yeah, that was very similar to this college because it was their exact logo. It was like how I would log into their website. So I was like, oh, this is legit because they're just trying to get a little bit more information from me.
Yeah, and so they got my debit card, they got my credit card.
It's really diabolical if you think about it. It's
terrible, and it was so relentless because I thought I typed in my numbers wrong, and so I was like, oh, well, maybe my bank's not going to go through because this is kind of a sketchy giveaway. It was for a particular item that's not necessarily like smiled upon, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I entered the credit card, they got that, and then it still wouldn't process. And I was like, well, what the heck? So I kept typing it in over and over, and that was just verifying the numbers, you know.
Yeah, so you're giving the numbers multiple times, so
exactly.
they could verify that they're correct.
Yeah, and so therefore, I checked my bank account, and it was like piddly little things. It was like $1 here, $1 there, and then it turned into $40, and it turned into $400, and it just kept growing as they realized that, aha, we got you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, damn it! Now I had to close down my bank account. I had to change all my numbers, and I was trying to buy a house. And so it was a very dangerous situation, and that always seems to happen right around the time when you're about to make a big purchase, like a vehicle, or you're looking at getting a mortgage, or tax season is right around the corner, and you really shouldn't be opening up lines of credit or screwing up your bank accounts or anything like that. And it just always seems to be there and present. And after I learned about that specific one, because I've never seen it before, I've never experienced it. I've experienced the phishing emails of like, oh, we put malware in your computer and we can turn on your camera and we can turn on your mic whenever, and we can hear you and your wife arguing, except, you know, at the time I wasn't married, and also I never had my webcam plugged in, so like that wasn't even possible. But they of course they it's called ransom emails.
Yeah, emails, ransomware.
Yep. Yeah. Ransomware. And so
we encountered a lot of that over at Best Buy when we were working there.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never experienced that.
There was, well, Best Buy not as a company was encountering it, but all the customers coming into Geek Squad, they basically get a message on their computer and they click on it, and then it opens up, I can't remember the software, but when the bad actors can access your computer remotely, and then they get a phone call and they end up signing up for this tech support stuff that's like $300.
Whoa.
And a lot of companies kind of fallen, I guess, victim to ransomware. I'd have to do a little bit more research on the specific ones.
Right.
But I remember that you either have to buy a certain amount of Bitcoin, or you have to give them a certain amount of money, or they'll literally hold your data and your computer at ransom.
Yeah.
And they threaten to destroy everything.
Yeah, what's really weird is sometimes I get emails where they actually have a screenshot of like my desktop.
Yeah, that's just downright creepy.
And so, one, it's creepy. Two, it makes the context of the email or the summary in the email a little bit more on edge, because like, how did you get the screenshot? Mm-hmm. You know, but if you look into it, it wasn't an actual screenshot of my exact desktop. It was a screenshot several months ago. And of course things change. Locations, files are saved on there. And so they're managing to get into, you know, like an archived image of the last time you had that specific image. And it could be months from then. But it's so minute and change that they try to give their email validity.
Yeah.
And so just know that hardly there's numerous ways to give out your access to your computer, and I don't even know the password to my administration to the computer. I don't know the administration password to my Wi-Fi. You have to give that out, you know, for them to gain access to it remotely.
Yes and no, because a lot of people, I've been guilty of doing this too, but there's a lot of default passwords for
that's true.
For our routers and for our systems, and people don't change them. I guess I shouldn't say exactly what they are here, but if you look in your manuals, they're definitely on there. So it is a good idea to change the passwords. And if you guys don't know how to change your default passwords, you can hop on our website. Eventually we'll have an article about that. Or you can contact myself or Max, and we'll get you that information. Yeah,
and so going into the do's and don'ts when you're across a scam, whether it be Audible or text message, Facebook, it's all relatively the same thing. Don't give out any personal information. Mm-hmm. No social security numbers, no phone numbers. Going off of phone numbers, there was a Facebook scam that I actually fell victim to yet again. But this time they gained access to my Facebook. And essentially it was a friend of mine that I haven't talked to in years. So a Facebook friend of mine, acquaintance in real life, messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm locked out of my Facebook. I need your help." And of course, I'm a human being willing to help. Mm-hmm. And I do consider them as a friendly individual, so I will help them. And I was like, okay, yeah, what's up? Like, what do you need? And they're like, well, I need your number so I can send my security code to it, and then I can gain access to my Facebook. But in reality, they're gaining access to your Facebook because they have a generator on their phone that's generating your phone number. So of course I gave them my phone number, thinking that, like, I didn't think
Yeah.
That the easiest way to get around a scam is to think for a second.
So that's the example of a don't.
Right.
I've never been really a victim on Facebook. I think I've gotten hacked once, but it wasn't through that at all. If I see somebody message me from a long time ago, I usually ask them something personal that only they would know. And if they don't respond to that, then I'll end up reporting them and just say that my friend has been hacked.
Right. And so, going back again, don't give out social security numbers, don't give out bank numbers or debit cards or anything unless you know for a fact that this is a secure purchase. Read the email, and if the email sender has a remote misspelling or just looks off, trust your gut. Don't open the email. And if you open the email, don't click on any pictures, don't click on any links. And what you should do is ultimately, what you should do is data collect. You should turn into the fisherman. And so things to look out for is, do they have a phone number? A lot of hackers that get into like Etsy or these storefronts, online storefronts that have like your bank information saved for quicker, easier transactions. I never save any of my bank information online. Just don't do it. Take the extra 5 seconds and type in your numbers every single time. It's not that hard. But if you have it saved, they have access. If they get access to your account, they have access to your bank card. And essentially, don't put that in there. That'll be the biggest trick that I can give you, is just don't save your information online.
So you're saying don't use autofill, because that is definitely a way that the hackers can get in there and watch your password managers.
Yep. Autofill is a horrible idea. I'm going to use crypto language for a second. Just like in cryptocurrencies, you should use a cold wallet, so it's not connected to the internet, but you still have your cryptocurrency. You should use a cold password manager, aka go absolutely archaic and write it down on a pen and paper. Do not save it online, because it's forever. There's no getting rid of it.
So that reminds me of when I took my cybersecurity course recently about network segmentation, that some things just need to be disconnected from the internet so nobody can get to them.
Exactly. And those things are your phone number, your address. You don't want stalkers. I was following somebody on TikTok, and actually I'll get his name and I'll reference it into the next episode. But he said what he does is, damn it, I'm actually drawing a blank. What does he do? He goes to his bank and says that he forces his bank and all financial institutions to sign a contract with them that they are not allowed to wire money out of his account or transfer money out of his account unless he's specifically physically there. Because in next episode we're going to be talking about AI, and there's a danger going around right now where people are cloning your voice. And so they're calling your bank, and they have your bank number.
So that's like that whole phone call you get, and they're like, "Can you hear me?" Never, ever, ever, ever say yes under any circumstance.
Yeah, don't say yes and don't say no. And don't give them any information. A weird thing, I was actually going to bring this up to you, Brad. Yesterday, my wife and I were going to our nephew's hockey game, and some old lady called me. And she's like, "Hey, I'm just returning your call." And at first I was like, I don't call anyone but my wife, and that's it. I literally, you can check my phone repository, and there'll be nothing in there but my phone calls to my wife and maybe some medical institutions. But so I was like, "No, ma'am, like, I'm sorry, like, that you got the wrong number maybe." It's just like, and she repeated my phone number. I'm not going to like turn around and say yes or no. But regardless of any of that information, she was just an older lady, and something happened to where she got a phone call from me, and I never made a phone call.
So somebody spoofed your number.
Somebody has my phone number, and somebody's spoofing it. Or somebody's using my number to scam somebody. You know, and yeah, I wanted to bring that up to you. That's a new thing that's going around, I guess, and that follows up to like what should you do is ultimately, as you're data gathering, find a phone number that they have on there. Take a copy of their email if you're on Etsy or any of these like Walmart or Amazon. Sometimes their shipping information is on there. I remember on Vistaprint, my wife and I got hacked on Vistaprint, and they had their address as a saved shipping situation. Of course, we sent it to the FBI. It turns out that these are like known individuals for identity theft. So we got it all taken care of. But once you gather all that information, report it to a proper authority. Now, if you're in an organization, you should send it immediately to IT. You should forward it to IT. You should forward it to HR. You should forward it to security.
Yeah, most organizations, right, in the email, they have reports, suspicious email.
Right.
I know Lowe's has it. Best Buy definitely had it.
Best Buy had it. I've reported several emails at Best Buy.
And sometimes they're testing you, but...
right.
Yeah,
you never don't want to be the one get caught failing that test, because most cases it's automatic termination. Like it's pretty bad, or at least a stern talking to. But
yeah, sometimes
if it's bad enough, if it's blatant, it's termination. And if it's a personal matter, report it directly to the proper authorities, like your state police post, or even your local police, for that matter. Good luck getting a hold of the FBI.
Right.
There's a chain of command even for civilians. So report it to your local police department, and they'll take care of it. And hopefully you don't become a victim of like sextortion, especially with like things like Instagram, Snapchat. You got things where you think that the pictures go away, but they don't. They don't go away. There's a means to where you can screenshot those pictures, and you'll never know if they did, and they'll use it against you, and they'll make your life miserable. There's a local boy who actually fell victim to that, and lost his life over it. It became too much. He couldn't bear the guilt anymore. So ultimately, to not fall victim to a scam like that is to, be aware that whatever you put online is permanent.
Yeah. I learned at a very, very young age that anything that goes online never, ever, ever goes away.
It doesn't ever go away.
Somebody will always find it.
I mean, just take a look at our current political system. Some of these politicians are having stuff thrown back in their faces that happened 40 years ago. And including now. And so, like, if it can happen to them, it can happen to you.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be naive to think that it won't happen to you, or it can't happen to you. The only way that it can't is that if you have your I's and T's crossed, and the things that are not supposed to be online are not. And we're just in a day and age where that's borderline impossible. There's always something that's going to end up online.
Yeah.
So
just be very, very vigilant.
It's definitely complacency. Definitely smacks you up pretty good in this line of work. And so we talked a little bit about AI and the danger of AI, especially with voice encoding and voice recognition and all that. And we're going to talk about that actually in our next episode, where we're going to dabble into AI. Is it good? Is it bad? What was the purpose of it? In the terms of art, in the scope of art, what is AI supposed to be used for? And so this has been Max.
This is Twiggy.
And this is Tech A. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.